Hello and welcome. This is Claudine returning with another tip on traveling. I know they say each and every person has a hobby. What's your hobby? One of my hobbies is traveling, okay? And of course, you're not going to wake up one morning and say, whoops, let's go to Australia, let's go to India, let's go to Africa. You have to really plan for this trip to be a success, right? So, what are some of the tips that you use to help travel, to help plan for your perfect vacation? These are the 6 tips that I found that are very, very helpful. There could be more out there, but these are the main 6 ones that I'm going to talk about. Number 1, do your research. Where are you going? For how long are you going to be gone? Who are you going with? What are you going to do when you're there? Okay, so these are the main things you really have to put into consideration to make your vacation a success, right? Because you really want to make it memorable. All right, so do your research. What's the culture in this area? What are their foods? What can you do while you're there? All right, actually that one is coming on to a different tip number. All right, so number 1, do your research. Number 2, consider your budget. This is huge. You don't want to have a $500 budget, but you want to travel overseas. That's not even enough for your ticket, depending on where you're living, where you are traveling from, and where you're going to. Let's take an example, traveling from the US to Kenya. You need at least $1,500 for a ticket, depending on the time of the year. And it could be even cheaper, depending on the time of the year as well, which ties to another tip as well, time of the year, okay? But consider your budget. This includes your ticket, rooms and accommodation, your food, your trips. And when I say trips, it's like the excursions. What are you going to do while you're there? Those 2, you need to consider the amount you're going to spend on that. Souvenirs. I love gathering souvenirs when I go somewhere. So that should be inclusive in your budget. Consider the entire budget, what you want to do. And the least thing you want to do is dig into your savings, or rather your emergency fund, just to fund your trip. It's not worth it. Leave your emergency fund the way it is. And this is why you need to plan. If you're planning to travel to Australia or to whichever place you want to travel to, consider the budget so you can start saving towards that. Okay, so really budget is very, very huge, and it's very key in this. You can't run away from it. Consider your budget. Number 3, think about your interests or activities. What do you like doing? Are you an outdoor person? Are you an indoor person? If you love skiing, the best time to do it is winter. That's when there's the snow. Yeah, you can do your skiing, put your roller skates together. Really, that's the best time to go. Also consider travel advisories. So some places may have travel advisories telling, especially right now with COVID, they can say, oh, you have to quarantine when you get to place A or place B, and you have to quarantine for 7 days. If you have 7 days to travel, and you have to quarantine for 7 days, you might as well not go, really, because that's going to be a waste of your time and your resources just to get there and be told, oh, because of the outbreak, you can't go anywhere else. You have to be quarantined for 7 days. So consider these travel advisories. 6, prepare your traveling documents. This includes passport, visa, immunization documents. If you're going to travel, these are some of the main things you have to put into consideration. You don't want to book a trip to Australia, and then when the time comes, or a few days before, you're like, all right, now let me get my passport out, and you realize it's expired, or it's a few days before it expires, and now you have to hustle trying to find an emergency traveling documents, or you have to get your passport expedited, which is going to cost you more money. So these are some of the things you really have to put into consideration before you plan for your trip. So make sure you have your traveling documents ready. You have to pay attention to travel advisories. You have to consider your time of the year, consider your interests, consider your budget, and mostly do your research. Those are my 6 tips on planning for a perfect vacation. If you're a traveler, what are some of the tips you've used to help plan for your perfect vacation? If you don't mind sharing, that would be so great. How about you share this video, comment, like and subscribe, and let us plan a perfect trip together. Till next time, peace out.